Well, hi everybody. This is the end of session. I'm actually recording this on the last day before we rise for the summer. And by the way, I look forward to seeing everybody in the riding. I'll be around all summer, back and forth across the riding, as I do every weekend when I'm home, when we're in session here. So I look forward to seeing everybody and listening to the things that you're most concerned about. Well, this session, let's begin with prorogation. I guess that was the first part of the session. It was an attempt by the government to avoid the Afghan detainee issue, and as you know from the news of the last couple of days, they still don't have to give up all the documents that are most important, cabinet memos and advice from lawyers and so on. So it's something we're still working on, and we're trying to hold the government's feet to the fire on this. So we'll continue to do that. I guess the federal budget is probably the next biggest issue. Of course, it's the largest deficit ever, and I have to smile when I think about it, because here's a government that has always campaigned on transparency and balanced budgets, and the list goes on, and of course they've gone, well, I don't even know how to describe it. They've just gone crazy with taxpayers' money they don't have. But I guess the next election will perhaps sort that out for the Conservatives. They're 5 years of deficit. $65 billion, I think, is the number they're looking at for this year. So it'll be interesting to see how things go on. And while we're talking about money, let's talk about G8 and G20. For security alone now, for these meetings coming up next week, $1.1 billion, I think, is the number that we're looking at. But keep in mind, that's for security only. That's not covering accommodation and meals and all sorts of other things. I wouldn't be surprised if the final bill ends up being about $2 billion. And this is at least 2 to 3 times larger than any other G8 and G20 summits that have been held in the world. I'll give you a good example on security alone. So $1.1 billion for security for the, I think it's the G20, or is it the G8? No, for the G8. Oh, that's for both of them, right? So $1.1 billion for security for both of them. I think it was 200 million or so in Italy last year for the G8 summit there. So you're getting an idea that they're spending a whole lot of money on a whole lot of other things, and Minister Tony Clement's riding seems to be the beneficiary of most of that. So, but you know what? It hasn't been all low points. High points too. High points that I've personally had on behalf of my constituents. At least I hope so, as we continue to follow these things along. C501, which is my pension protection bill, has passed its first really big hurdle, and now I'm consulting with all the parties and MPs about how best to move forward in committee, which it'll be in this fall, to make sure that we come up with a bill that does what I intended to do, which is to protect the pensions of 5 million plus workers in this country. Not just 5 million plus workers, but 5 million plus families in this country. But I'd also like every MP in the next election, once we pass this bill, C501, that everybody can go back. Doesn't matter what party it is. They can go back to their riding and say, you know what, we all worked together, we all cooperated to do something really good for 5 million Canadian families, and that's my goal. And so we're still talking. I'm still talking to everybody I possibly can to get everybody on board on this. So that's an ongoing one. I introduced my fetal alcohol spectrum disorder bill. And like a number of bills and motions that I put forward, that bill is prompted by you, by people in the riding who have a concern, and I'm more than happy to put these things forward. This bill is a very sort of straightforward bill. It deals with alcohol labeling on containers and cartons in Canada that would advise that no amount of alcohol is safe for a pregnant woman to drink. So it's a very straightforward bill that way. I have another one that is now ready, a fetal alcohol spectrum disorder bill, and I'll introduce it in September when we're back. And that bill calls on the government to have a national strategy on how we can fight fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, because, you know, quite frankly, it's one of those things that is 100% preventable. And you know, when it comes to health issues, often that's not the case. But in this case, it is. So we'll continue to push that. And I guess lastly, maybe just an update on the long gun registry. There's a vote on September 21st on a report from the committee, and if that report passes, now you'll have to follow me here on this. If this report passes, and the report is calling for this bill, Candace Hepner's bill, to be killed. So if it passes in the House, the bill will be killed. If it doesn't pass, then the bill actually will come back for another vote. So that's something to watch for in the fall. Of course, I don't need to tell you that I've been very clear on this issue right from the very beginning. So there have been some highs. You know, my pension protection bill, which I'm very proud of, and thank all my staff also for all the hard work they've done on that bill. And there have been low parts. You know, the deficit and prorogation and the money, taxpayers' money now that's being spent on G8 and G20, and you know, when the final accounting's done, I think Canadians will be pretty annoyed with what's been going on there. But you know, it's we've all worked really hard, in spite of what you might see in the papers or what you see in question period. It's been a good session for us. It's been a good session for the work that my staff has done in the constituency, and you know what, I'm very pleased, and I'm very honored to be your member of Parliament. So be sure to let me know if there's anything that you want to talk about. I will be out and about around the whole riding all summer, and but you know, emails, phone calls, whatever you like, I'd be more than happy to talk to you about. So anyway, I'll sign off for now, and we'll have more updates as the summer goes along. Thanks for watching.